morning, everyone. I'm Paul the Nitro Skywers, and welcome to another edition of the Nitro Corner. Today is Saturday, and it's time for part 2 of our weekend report. And as always, we'll start with our SmackDown report and then the Nitro Top 10 for this week. So let's get started with the SmackDown report. It opened up with Triple H coming out there. Of course, he is the COO of the WWE, otherwise known as a career politician. He is so super psyched and excited about being the special guest referee. Can you smell what he's cooking? For his upcoming role as special guest referee between John Cena and CM Punk at SummerSlam tomorrow night. Well, Christian comes out there and says that Triple H putting Christian in a no-holds-barred title defense against Randy Orton provides an unsafe working environment and threatens to file a lawsuit against Triple H and the WWE. God, I wonder if that's real. But nonetheless, Triple H feels that if Christian does file that lawsuit, he would be under breach of contract. So therefore, Christian decided to drop the lawsuit, but then he will be ready for Randy Orton at SummerSlam tomorrow night. Next up, speaking of which, Triple H ordered Christian to have a match one-on-one with the Celtic Warrior Sheamus, and Sheamus pulls out a big win by countout over Christian. That certainly will add things up for Sheamus as he's on a major role right now on SmackDown. Next up, Beth Phoenix teamed up with Natalya to defeat AJ and Caitlyn. It was basically a squash match as both women proved their superiority over AJ and Caitlyn with their inexperience. Next up, the return of Sin Cara. WWE says an injury, but we know the real story, that wellness policy violation. Anyway, Sin Cara defeated Tyson Kidd in his return to SmackDown. We'll see whether Sin Cara can come back from that wellness policy violation and continue his climb upward in the SmackDown roster. Next up, the battle of the Money in the Bank winners for this year, as Raw's Alberto Del Rio defeated SmackDown's Daniel Bryan via submission with the arm breaker. After the matchup, Wade Barrett decides to show up and delivers a cheap shot to Daniel Bryan. But paybacks, I think, are going to be a you-know-what when the Daniel Bryan, takes on Wade Barrett at SummerSlam. Next up, in a major upset in my mind, we have a brand new Intercontinental Champion as Cody Rhodes. That's right, Cody Rhodes defeats Ezekiel Jackson via pinfall to become the brand new Intercontinental Champion. Although Ezekiel Jackson had a couple distractions by Ted DiBiase, nonetheless, it's an upset for Cody Rhodes. Afterward, Ted DiBiase decides he wants to add insult to injury by putting the paper bag over Ezekiel Jackson's head. Big mistake, as Ezekiel proceeded to lay the smackdown on Ted DiBiase's you-know-what, threw him over the top rope with a press slam, and left him lying on the floor at the feet of the brand new Intercontinental Champion, Cody Rhodes. Next up, the world's strongest man, Mark Henry, defeated the debuting Johnny Curtis. Basically, it was a squash match. Mark Henry tried to break Johnny Curtis's leg, but Sheamus came out there to make the save once again. And then in the main event, Randy Orton scores a big win, and I literally mean big, over the Great Khali by using an RKO. Orton looked crisp and sharp and ready to go, but then Christian comes out there and states that he has a nice surprise for Randy Orton and that he is ready for SummerSlam. And that's the SmackDown report for this week. Overall, SmackDown was a good show with Cody Rhodes becoming the brand new Intercontinental Champion. Randy Orton with a big win. So is Sheamus. A pretty good SmackDown for this week. And now, the Nitro Top 10 for this week. It's a very interesting top 10 to say the least. Let's get started. Number 10 is Robert Roode. Robert Roode picked up 7 points this week in the 6-man tag team match as part of the Bound for Glory series. Robert Roode now moves up to 2nd place on the leaderboard. Next up, number 9 is John Cena. He defeated Jack Swagger this past Monday night on Raw, but it seems like everyone can beat Jack Swagger on Raw. Not much consequence behind that. Number 8 is the Money in the Bank winner, Alberto Del Rio. He defeated the SmackDown Money in the Bank winner, Daniel Bryan, this past Friday night on SmackDown. Number 7 is the former Knockouts champion, Mickie James. She gets back on her winning ways by beating Madison Rayne to become the new number 1 contender for the Knockouts Championship. I'm looking forward to seeing the rematch between winner and Mickie James for that Knockouts Championship. Number 6 this week is the Viper, the Viper, Randy Orton. Orton scored a big win, and I mean big, over the Great Khali. He looked crisp and sharp this past Friday night on SmackDown. Number 5 this week is the Celtic Warrior, Sheamus. He pulled out a huge win over World Heavyweight Champion Christian by countout. He is on a major roll right now on SmackDown. Look forward to seeing big things from Sheamus. Number 4 this week is the brand new Impact Heavyweight Champion of the World, Kurt Angle. Although controversial, Kurt Angle defeated Sting to become the new Impact Heavyweight Champion, and then this past Thursday swore his allegiance to Immortal and Hulk Hogan. Number 3 is Crimson. He defeated 3 members of Immortal, Scott Steiner. He outlasted Scott Steiner, Gunner, and Bully Ray in a fatal 4-way match to pick up 7 huge points to keep his lead in the Bound for Glory series, although he was attacked afterward by Kurt Angle. Number 2 this week is CM Punk. CM Punk looks ready for SummerSlam. Basically, once again, he carried Raw this week. He defeated Alberto Del Rio, the supposed number 1 contender for the world's heavyweight title and the Raw Money in the Bank winner. And then that devastating promo he did at the end where he confronted John Cena one-on-one along with Triple H and John Road Warrior Animal's brother, Laurinaitis. Excuse me. And now, even though CM Punk was number 1 last week, he is number 2 this week. That means we have a brand new number 1 wrestler in the Nitro Top 10, and no secret out here. He is the number 1 wrestler is the brand new Intercontinental Champion, Cody Rhodes. Cody defeated Ezekiel Jackson in a major upset to become the brand new Intercontinental Champion. So Cody Rhodes is the brand new number 1 wrestler in the Nitro Top 10. And that is it for this week's edition, for the weekend report for this week. I will be back tomorrow not only with the classic match of the week, but the return once again of the booking sheet featuring SummerSlam. Until then, I'm Paul the Nitro Skyver saying, so long everybody.